following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98FM. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Tuesday morning, Tuesday, the 6th day of June 2017. And how are you this morning? I hope everything is good with you. I hope you had a great bank holiday weekend and all set for, well, a shorter than normal week. 4-day week, which isn't too bad. Anyway, stay with us between now and midday today. We've a lot of stuff to get through, including if you're a dog owner, we're going to be talking to you, well, specifically about dogs in just a while, following that awful incident over the weekend with that woman attacked by two bull mastiff dogs, which I don't particularly like anyway. But it has led to calls, and we're going to be talking about this a little bit later on. It has led to calls for a review of the laws surrounding dogs and dog ownership and dangerous dogs and everything else. I'll be speaking to one person who believes that all of the dogs on the restricted dogs list should be gotten rid of altogether. And we'll be asking how you feel about that. We'll also be hearing from a mother who is a nervous wreck now following the attacks in London over the weekend. And our thoughts and prayers are with everybody affected by that incident over the weekend, and Manchester 2 weeks ago, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Anyway, I'll be talking to a mother who is terrified about her son moving to London to go to college. She doesn't want him to. And she's an absolute nervous wreck over the whole thing. We'll talk about that later on and much more besides. Between now and midday today, it's 98FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy and I'm on my Todd today because Dixon was very, well, he's otherwise engaged. Okay. Now, loads of stuff in the papers today that I want to touch on. A load of different stuff here. Here's a question for you. What's the bravest thing you have ever done? What's the bravest thing that you've ever done? I want you to text or WhatsApp me right now on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing that you have ever done? So, reading an article here in one of the papers, and it says, speaking out against a boss or a colleague is the biggest modern sign of bravery, a new opinion poll has said. So basically, speaking out against a boss, going head-to-head with your boss, is perhaps the bravest thing that you can do. As Katie just shouted in my ears, getting in a car with her is a very brave thing to do. It actually is. It actually is. I want you to text or WhatsApp me right now on 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing that you have ever done? Because this gives a list of suggestions of brave things that you can do, okay? One of them, for example, is quitting a job. It takes bravery and courage to just walk out of a job. Another one on the list is making the first move on a date. That takes real bravery. Going on a solo holiday, something that we spoke about last week on the show, about going on holidays on your own. That's a really brave thing to do, according to this. I'd love to hear from you on, you can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I would love to hear from you about the bravest thing that you have ever done. What is the bravest thing that you've ever done? Now, it can be something really trivial. Like Katie says one of the bravest things she ever did was getting on a plane to go to Lanzarote. Now, she's not great with flying, is our Katie. So that's why it's... So I'll give a pair of cinema tickets to the bravest person. Okay, the person whose text or WhatsApp message is just a real sign of absolute bravery. Text or WhatsApp us right now, 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing you have ever done? And I will give you a pair of passes for the cinema. Okay? Simple as that. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing that you have ever done? I would love to hear from you. Now, Craig, you sound extremely brave. You did what? What did you do?
I told her I'm not doing them dishes anymore. That's the end of it. I don't care.
You
trust me, that takes, I won't say, that takes cojones.
It really does. It absolutely does. So you told your missus, I am not doing those dishes and I'm never doing them again.
Yeah, point blank. I'm just not doing it.
Have you not got a dishwasher, no?
Yeah, it's kind of a dirt collector, I find. We find it just tend to just wash them and then put them away. You know the way? You just forget about the dishwasher. Yeah, I know, I'm kind of a bit like that. But anyway, the bravest thing you ever did was to tell your missus, I'm not doing those dishes now or never. Yeah, anyone who knows my missus will agree. She's gonna kill me. Oh, is she a bit of a Rottweiler? No, she's not that bad. She's alright. Right, she's okay. Alright. That's the bravest thing you've ever done. Fair play, Craig. That's the bravest thing. All right. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you. Text or WhatsApp us right now on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing you have ever done? Dumping my ex was very brave. I left a job. I walked through a graveyard alone at 3 a.m. Brave or foolish, I don't know, says that message. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. You can send your message by text or by WhatsApp. And it's something that you consider brave. Like he considered it brave to tell his wife, no, I'm not doing the dishes anymore. So it doesn't have to be, saving somebody's life. It's something that you consider to be a brave thing to do. Jody, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jody?
How are you? Not too bad.
Now, Jody, what's the bravest thing you've ever done?
I stopped a girl being beaten by her husband in town only for the one with the torn on me and hit me with the high heel in the back of the head.
Right. So right. Now, I don't know if that's bravery or stupidity. Let me just hear your full story. So there you are, you're in town. What happened?
Well, I was actually coming home from Finglas, and I got off the bus in Parnell Street. I walked through Parnell Street to find the fella beating his girl. I went over, I pulled him over, and I tried to pin him to the ground. And for his girlfriend had to take off a high heel and stick in the back of my head.
Right. Now, it's actually something we've spoken about on the show before, about whether or not you're brave or stupid to do something like that.
Yeah, that was the first time I've done it, and it's been the last. That was a good few years ago. That was probably 8 years ago, maybe.
Well, fair play to you for doing it, but like I said, were you mad or what?
Yeah, I think, looking back right now, I think it was a bit stupid to do it, to interfere in a relationship.
All right, fair play, Jody. Call us right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What is the bravest thing that you have ever done? The bravest thing I ever did, says this message. We're trying to get in touch with this person because I'd love to talk to you. The bravest thing I ever did was to come to Ireland alone, not knowing anyone, just to start a new life. Now, that's a very brave thing to do. It really is. And my own young fella has actually done something similar. He moved to Canada last November, honest Todd, knowing nobody bar one person. And he has my absolute admiration for doing it. I really am very proud of him for doing it. But there's somebody who did it the other way around. The bravest thing I ever did was to come to Ireland alone, not knowing anyone, just to start a new life. Finian, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Finian?
Hello there, Adrian. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Finian. Finian, what's the bravest thing you ever did?
I left my job in the middle of the recession in 2012 when the missus was pregnant, and I started up my own company.
Ooh. So on the height of the recession in 2012, your missus is pregnant, you have a job, but you packed it all in to start your own company.
Yeah, and I was in that job for 12 years.
Right, so you were in a fairly secure job.
Yep.
And please tell me everything worked out and the company worked out and you're still running it, are you?
Oh, we're flying, thank God.
Oh,
we're
brilliant.
stuck in diesel, as they say, you know.
Excellent. What is your company?
Like Suburban Landscape.
Oh, really? Excellent. And right, that was very brave, doing landscaping in the recession when people were probably cutting back on all of that.
Yeah, well, that's true, but sure, it had to be done, you know.
And now business is flying.
Business is flying, thank God.
Excellent. Well done on your bravery, Finian. And, doing something like that, even in good times, takes a bit of bravery to walk out of a job to set up your own company. I'm delighted for you that it's working out for you. Well done.
No problem at all.
Good man,
Does that
thank
mean
you.
I get the cinema tickets?
You never know. You never know. Keep listening and you'll find out. Thanks, Finian. Bill.
How are you?
How are you, Bill?
Okay.
Bill, what's the bravest thing you ever did?
Got married. leaving all them women behind me. I'm concentrating on one. They were all devastated. It was shocking. It really was.
I'd say they were. Yeah. They were crying the day you got married. No,
they really were. They were absolutely devastated. I mean, it was just shocking for everybody.
How long are you married?
Seems like about 147 years.
But how long is it actually?
I'm 7 years married. I got married late in life.
You're 7 years married.
Yeah,
right. So
got married late in life.
What made you finally give in and get married?
Oh, the gun I father had behind my head. Hello?
Right, so the bravest thing you ever did was to get married?
Yeah. I got married. And then the next bravest thing I'm going to do is have the snips.
Is to what?
Have the snips.
Really? Why? How many kids have you got?
5.
5? Oh, yeah, that's snip material, all right. Yeah. When are you planning to have that done?
Late July.
Late July?
Yeah.
Now, I believe, it's easy for me to say because I haven't had it done, but I believe it's not as bad as you might think it's going to be.
Oh, no, it is. I've seen the videos. I've had the conversation. It is. Any man that'll talk to you about it would not be a happy conversation without cross his legs.
Yeah,
or going,
absolutely, yeah.
As I said, herself has done her duty as it were, and.
No. Well, fair play to you. Good man. Thanks, Bill. Kevin, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Kevin?
How's it going, Adrian?
Good, thanks, Kev. Kevin, what's the bravest thing you ever did?
Jumped into the river and pulled a fella out of it. He was drowning.
Really?
Yeah.
When was this?
I had gone back about 15, 16 years ago.
15 or 16 years ago?
Yeah.
This is the River Boyne, was it?
River Boyne, yeah. There's a few youngsters drinking in the river. One of them got brave and jumped in. He couldn't swim, so jumped in after him. I didn't even know him.
And you did manage to rescue him, did you?
I got him out, yeah. Eventually, after he actually pulled me down 2 or 3 times with him, but I got him out, like.
Right, but that was very brave of you. Now, I assume you hadn't been drinking or anything, had you?
No, I was just down walking with the dog.
And now, I've never been in that situation, and I'd like to think if I ever was in that situation, I'd do what you did and at least try to rescue the person. I think it's kind of your instinct kicks in, isn't it?
That's what it was. They're only young fellas. They're all underage drinking. I'd say they all were 15, 16 themselves, like.
Mm.
And I was walking down, I heard 2 young fellas shouting, can you help? And I look, I see this on the river. I just off t-shirt and runners and just jumped into my jeans. Well, you pull them out.
Well, fair play to you, Kevin. And it's something you'd do it again, would you?
I wouldn't have heartbeat, yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't have heartbeat. Fair play. And I assume the person that you rescued was very grateful to you.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah, he was. That's good. All right, well done. Thank you. That's very brave. Eddie, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Eddie?
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
Oh, it's not too bad. You just reminded me of the scariest moment of my life.
Which was?
I was in Australia, right, with the lads, and they were staying for a year. And I had a 3-month holiday visa. So I decided to come back through Thailand for a couple of weeks on my own. And I was on a little island called Koh Samet, and it was about 3 a.m. in the morning. I was in this bar, quite drunk, playing pool. And there was this big, huge Russian fella at the bar. He was like a man mountain. And he had a little toy girl with him. And he just lost her head and gave her the biggest belt in the face and bust her nose and sent her flying off the chair. I picked up a pool cue. I don't know what I was thinking. And I walked over, started swearing, going, you do that again, I'll cave your head in. Obviously, he couldn't understand me. And he put his hands up and went, sorry. I walked to the end of the bar. The barman was an English fella, and he went, that is the biggest mistake you could ever make. He said, he's a big Russian gangster. He said, you want to get out of here. He said, I'm telling you now. He said, do not let him catch you for the rest of this holiday. So he snuck me out the back door. And I went, Jesus, what have I done? And I went home. Next day I woke up. It was the second last day of my trip. I was walking along the beach. I had my shades on, but I had my head dipped and I was just strolling along. And before I knew it, I looked up. There he was in front of me, coming towards me with about 5 big, huge blokes. And I was like, shit. And I just put my head down, and I just thought, I have the chance, I have to act normal. And I just walked past him, and he didn't see me. I thought, my God, Adrian, I'm not joking.
Oh, don't blame you, man. You have me terrified just listening.
I'm not joking here. If he'd have realised who it was, I wouldn't have been here today, you know. I was just like, what did I do? What was I thinking? Trying to be the hero, you know.
So would you do it again?
Probably would.
No, yeah, you probably
it depends
would,
in what situation, you know. But you just react, don't you? You see something wrong and you just react. But I definitely wouldn't do it in a foreign country again. No way.
All right. Good man. Thank you very much, Eddie. Well done. The bravest thing I ever did was reported a work colleague for neglecting a patient in a nursing home, knowing I'd have to come face to face with them in a meeting with the bosses. That's a very brave thing to do. It's a pity there aren't more people like you. I sent a resignation email to my boss at 12 o'clock at night. No more work for tomorrow morning. That's it. Just resigned at midnight. The bravest thing I ever did was to kiss a girl I was in love with, uncertain if she would kiss me back. Thankfully, she did. The bravest thing I ever did was I talked to a suicidal man off a bridge. And one last call. David, you're on 98 FM. How are you, David?
Hey, how's it going?
David, the bravest thing you ever did?
Went shark diving in South Africa.
Really? Now, were you in a cage or?
Yeah, it's a cage at the side of a boat.
Yeah. And did the shark come over to you?
It popped its head out to get the feed off the guts and blood and all that last year in the sea.
Right.
So there's about five or six in the cage, and I was in the middle. And next thing, shark put its head up out of the sea.
Oh, that sounds terrible. And was it terrifying?
At first, yeah, then I kind of got into the swing of it. So I was gone after that.
Fair play. No, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Between that and jumping out of an airplane, there are two things I don't think I could actually do.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've always wanted to jump out of an airplane with a parachute, obviously, but never had the bravery to do it. I don't know if I could, but it's still one of those things I want to be able to do. Here's just one. When I was younger, when I was a younger man on holiday, I swam out to sea and brought two kids back to shore when they drifted out in their dinghy. Their mother bought me dinner that night and a box of chocolates, says that brave person. And one last one. Oh, no, sorry. That doesn't make any sense at all. My brave thing was jumping in front of a Lewis to save someone who slipped on ice and smacked his head on the tracks. Me and some other random guy jumped on the tracks to lift him off, and I patched up his head and called an ambulance. Well done to all of you. Now, I want to talk to you about this. I want to get your opinions on this for a second. This is another story I was reading in one of the newspapers today. It's a story about a mother who had no hesitation in letting her 5-year-old son have his ears pierced. And she went on social media to say that her son, or 5-year-old son, knew all about the process of getting his ears pierced, knew it was going to be painful, but still wanted to do it. And afterwards, this woman posted on social media about her 5-year-old son having his ears pierced. But what she didn't expect was the backlash that she got as a result of posting online that her son had his ears pierced. She says it was an easy decision to make once I explained the process. He still insisted on having it done. He was so excited he chose his own earrings, told everyone he came across that he didn't even cry, and he was brave. But as I said, after posting about her experience, the mother received a very mixed response, with many saying that having a young boy in particular with his ears pierced gives off the wrong message. That he's a little thug or he's a little brat or whatever. And it's... I have to be honest with you, I hate seeing it. I hate seeing boys with their ears pierced. And I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. And I'd love to hear from you. Basically what this woman said, if he was a girl, no one would have batted an eyelid, which I think is so wrong for so many reasons. She says that it's important to let your kids do what they want to do, and this 5-year-old wanted to get his ears pierced. And I maybe it's me, maybe I'm old-fashioned on this one, but I just hate to see a young boy with his ears pierced. Am I alone here? Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. I'll take a quick break. Back in a second.
The show getting Dublin talking.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
Morning, Dublin. I'm Adrian Kennedy. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. I'm talking about, I was just talking there before the break about a story about a 24-year-old mother from Australia who had no hesitation in letting her 5-year-old son have his ears pierced. She said that her son knew all about the process and still insisted that he wanted it. Afterwards, he told everyone about his new piercings and how brave he was. But now the reaction she got online was that, people basically believe that the young fella was a little thug. That to have a young boy's ears pierced is just giving off the wrong message, the wrong image. And I kind of agree with that. Something I hate to see. Ears pierced at 5, says this text message. Shouts of scanger alert. And then another message says, if it's not your child, you have no right to criticise. And Nikita, you're a bit annoyed. Why?
Yeah, like the cheeky. Who do you think you are?
What do you mean, who do I think I am?
Like saying that they're not nice, like that there's anything wrong with them. There's not.
It's my opinion.
Yeah, but like you're criticising someone else's parenting.
No, not necessarily. I
think they do look gorgeous on some kids.
On some kids? Why some?
Well, like, no, not on some kids, but I do think they look gorgeous on kids. Like, I got my 3-year-old, like, I have 2 kids, and I got my 3-year-old boys on when he was 3.
You got your 3-year-old boy's ears pierced when he was 3?
No, not both of them, just the one of them.
Oh, just the one?
Yeah, and he loves it, he does. Like, he's 6 now, and he does change the stud and everything in it.
And
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And like anybody who does have a problem with it, like you need to look at the bigger picture. Like it's not that big a deal. It's a choice. Like it's a preference. But
hang
like someone wanting a tattoo or not.
Here's the bit that I've a big issue with. Your 3-year-old. Okay, you said you got him. You got his ear pierced when he was 3.
Yeah.
Did he ask, or did you decide this for him?
No, he didn't ask. He didn't know what it was. I said if I got him done younger, that he wouldn't be worried about it and he'd forget about it. Whereas if I told him like 7 years old or something that, we'll bring you and get your ears pierced, I'd like him to get his ears pierced, he'd probably be like nervous and stuff. Whereas if you get them done younger, they forget about it afterwards. You like give them a lollipop and they're not worried about it. There's no anxieties. Do you know what I mean? Like he loves them now. He goes around school telling all his friends that he got a new stud and all. Nothing skangy. Like people say they're skangy. Your man said it's skangy. It's not skangy at all. It's no different than putting like a nice pair of shoes or like a nice hair, like those JoJo bows that my little girl loves. The JoJo bows. Like so, I don't see the problem.
Text or WhatsApp your opinion on this to 0877 98 98 98. 0877
Adrian, why do
98
you
98
think it's
98.
different for a girl?
I just, actually, I don't like to see young kids at all getting their ears pierced.
Yeah, but are you saying that you think there is a difference with a girl?
I do think there is a slight difference, yeah.
Oh, no, that's wrong. Like, how can you say there's a difference with a girl and a boy? Like, why should a girl have it and not a boy?
I just think it looks horrible. I really do.
That's pure discrimination against, that's gender discrimination. Why should a girl have it and not a boy? Like, what's the difference?
Because generally speaking, boys and men don't wear earrings as much as girls and women.
And when he got it done, like people saying, the pain, and people were saying to me after, like my family and all coming in saying, the pain. It didn't even hurt him. Like he forgot about it 2 minutes later. He was a little topper. He was. I was very proud.
Well, okay, here's 2 contrasting messages. One says, no, Adrian, you're not old-fashioned. Just look at the child's mother and you can tell they are common as dishwater.
I'm not common as dishwater.
And then another one says, Adrian, you're always going on about equal rights. Girls get it done. Why not boys?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think there's anything. And all my friends have their little young fellas done as well. Like, I started the trend because I was the first having them. So they all get theirs done now as well. And they love it. Like, they're always checking out each other's earrings and that. Like, so, you know, like, it's a bit of fun for them. They love it. So
a bit of fun.
I don't see a problem.
But again, I think, I have to be honest with you, Nikita, I think what you did to your 3-year-old child is, I won't say abuse, but I just find it disgusting that you would do that to a 3-year-old.
What's the difference to bringing your child to the doctor and getting an injection?
Because the injection is there for his health.
And that's there because they like it?
Because you like it. No, because you like it.
It's the same pain. It's just a needle. I don't see the problem. Like, it's an earring. I'm not bringing him getting a tattoo. I haven't gotten him a sleeve tattoo.
you're missing the point that I'm trying to make. Your child at 3 did not decide himself he wanted to get his ear pierced, and I think what you did.
That he wants to get his booster shots either.
There's a complete difference now with booster shots.
But you're still not doing any harm. Like, but you bringing your child for his injections, for his boosters, like he's getting the same pain that he would be from getting his injection or getting his ear pierced. So, like, it's 2-minute pain, forgotten about afterwards, and he's happy with it then.
Yeah, but for who? The point I'm trying to make is that you are the person who wanted this done, not your child.
What's the difference if, like, you're in Duns or something like that, and you see, like, a little dress for your little baby girl or for your boy, or a little suit for your boy, and you're like, oh, I think that would look real nice on him, I'll get him that. What's the difference? I don't see the difference.
Stay there for a second. Is it just me who feels this way about this? I think it is wrong to get particularly a young boy's ears pierced. I also hate to see little babies having their ears pierced as well. Is it just me that thinks that it is just wrong, for example, for that lady to allow or to get her 3-year-old boy's ears pierced? Oh, one ear, Nikita, was it?
Yeah, only the one ear. I wouldn't pierce two. He's not a girl.
He's not a girl, but you just said about equal rights and all that.
No, yeah, but the way it is that boys get their 1 ear pierced and girls get 2 ears pierced. I don't think there should be any difference for a girl being able to get it done and not a boy. That's just pure ridiculous.
Stay there for a second. Lisa, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Lisa, we were talking about a woman who allowed her 5-year-old to get his ears pierced. Here's a lady who... Actually, in that case, she got both ears pierced, but here's a lady who got 1 ear pierced on her 3-year-old boy. What do you think of this?
I think that lady is kind of, contradicting herself. She's talking equality and then she's talking about what's gender-based with 2 earrings and 1 earring. I think any person getting a 3-year-old's ears pierced needs their head examined. It looks absolutely vile, especially with a little...
Who are you to comment on what it looks like?
That's my opinion, Nikita.
Yeah, but your opinion is wrong. Don't be judging me and my parents' skills or my child.
I think, you obviously lack skills where that type of thing is concerned. And I think that...
Oh, and you're mother of the year, are you?
I think a lot of people like you use a child as an accessory.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
And tell me what people are like me.
By the sound of it, I can put the picture together, I can put the picture of post office queue on a Thursday, collect the money, do you know what I mean? Not working, maybe working part-time, definitely not paying taxes.
You need to pull your head out of your backside. There's nothing wrong with getting a child pierced.
Well, why did you get his ear pierced?
Were you not listening?
For you? Was it for you? Was it for you?
No, it wasn't for me. It was because I thought it would look nice on him, which it does. He looks real cute.
No, it was for you. For appearance. He's not a dog.
You probably...
He's a
child. You even have kids. If you don't even have kids, you can't even comment.
I have 3 that I didn't violate with earrings.
And is that how you see it, as violation?
I think it absolutely is violating.
You're actually an okay.
Why would you inflict pain on a child, Adrian? A normal mother even hates bringing a child to have a vaccination. Do you know what I mean?
Because so I'm not normal now.
The pain of it,
So I'm not normal now, am I not?
Someone like Nikita who goes in and volunteers her child in for pain, for nothing.
Let me read a few texts that have come in. Will you tell that fool to cop on? The child was 3 years old. Talk about common as muck. This is a classic example of this. For me, to pierce the ears of a boy, it's like being a pimp. And now they are becoming one at just 3. Let kids be kids. And like I said, I do have a problem with young kids being pierced. I always have done. But I, for some reason, think it's worse when it's a boy. I really do. But Lisa, do you agree with that? Or do you see it equally bad, whether it's a girl or a boy?
I think with a girl, it kind of just looks, it looks pretty. You can understand why a girl would want them done. But I do think, Adrian, that with people like that lady I have, I'll use that term loosely, but however... like that girl who's speaking, I do think that that's for their own sake, not for a child. Would you get a child a tattoo? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, and I just said that.
Or maybe she would.
Well, no, she said she wouldn't. So we'll just.
Why would she not? Why not?
Because with a tattoo, it's there for life. If he didn't like the studs, he can take them out.
But it wasn't his choice to like the stud. You brought him because you thought
getting earrings is a lot less than getting a tattoo, and you know that. You're just.
But what I'm saying to you is, You got your child's ear pierced.
Yeah.
For your sake.
I'm the mother.
For him.
I can do it if I want to do it. He's my child, not yours. I can do what I want to do. And if I want to bring him in and get his...
When I was getting vaccinated, were you afraid?
Nikita, I'm asking the question, why did you want to get it done? You wanted to get it done for you.
Cute.
For you.
No,
he's not cute enough for you without an earring.
No, he's gorgeous. I just thought it'd be real
cute. Well, then if he's gorgeous, why do you have to stab holes in him to make it prettier for you?
I'm not You're making it sound like I went out with a 10-inch.
No, I'm not. No. Don't tell me that it doesn't hurt. Because, of course,
well, if it hurts him that much, then how can we stop crying after like a minute?
Why does any child stop crying? They stop crying after vaccination.
But hang on for 1 second, Nikita. It's not even to do with him crying or anything like that. I just wonder, do you think he looks better with his earring?
Yeah, I think it's adorable on him. I do.
It's adorable.
Love it, yeah.
Because you wouldn't believe the amount of texts and WhatsApp messages I'm getting in from people saying, does she realise what a scanger she has made of her young child?
The thing is that really annoys me, that how many of these people giving out about what I'm doing are probably bringing their kids to fast food restaurants 4 or 5 times a week. There's your problem. Forget about earrings. These parents are probably...
The conversation is about earrings, and it's about mothers like you violating
Yeah, but it
children.
doesn't matter. It's about the hypocrisy that people think...
You're inflicting pain on a child.
You're a hypocrite as well. You're no better. You're no better.
Unnecessary pain on a child.
No, it's not unnecessary pain. What would you know? Did you even feel?
Obviously, you didn't think your child looked good enough beforehand.
No, he did look good enough. He's gorgeous.
No, hang on. So you made a step to improve him, to make him look good.
Here, I didn't get him Botox,
your child?
for Christ's sake.
Why would you do that to a child?
I went in and injected him with Botox. I got his ear pierced.
It's not a doll. It's a human. You don't just pierce it.
But he's my doll. That's what he is. He's my little baby, my doll. So
he's your doll. Listen to yourself.
Listen to yourself. That's the reality of it, Nikita. He is not your doll. He's not a little toy. He's not a plaything. But you're treating him like that.
But if I turn around to him now and I said, take your stud out, I want to let your ears close up, he'd be really, really upset. Like, he loves him.
Oh, God love him.
Yeah, because he's known no different. All right, look, I'm going to have to leave it at that. Thank you very much indeed, Nikita. Thank you, Lisa. It's just something that bothers me. Always has done. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. We're here till 12 o'clock. This is 98FM. Now, a story from over the weekend, a tragic story. I'm sure most of you have heard this story. If you haven't, let me tell it to you. It's a tragic story of a woman in Galway who was savaged to death by 2 bull mastiffs. 64-year-old Teresa McDonagh was checking on the dogs in a relative's house when they attacked her. And the horrible incident, sadly again, brings into focus the dangers of certain breeds of dog. Now, these dogs happen to be bull mastiffs. They are on the list of controlled dogs. And this has led to calls for a review on the laws surrounding dangerous dogs. Now, the Control of Dogs Act is 20 years old. It was brought in 1998, so it's nearly 20 years old. And here are the list of dogs that need to be controlled. An American Pit Bull Terrier, an English Bull Terrier, a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, a Bull Mastiff, which is the dogs that attack this woman, a Doberman Pinscher, a German Shepherd or an Alsatian, a Rhodesian Ridgeback, a Rottweiler, a Japanese Akita, a Japanese Tosa, and a Bandog. The rules state that these dogs have to be kept on a strong lead, have to be muzzled in public places, and they have to wear a collar at all times bearing the name and address of their owner at all times. As I said, this really unfortunate incident has led to calls for new laws to be brought in. And I want to find out what new laws you would like to see being brought in surrounding dangerous dogs. Stay with me, I'll be back in 1 second.
The voice of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
Good morning, Dublin. It's Tuesday's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy at 98FM. Now, as I mentioned, over the weekend there was this tragic story. It really is, and it just sounds like an absolute nightmare. A 64-year-old woman went to check on the dogs belonging to a relative. And when she went to check on them in the house, she was attacked by these 2 bull mastiffs, and she was literally killed. Niall O'Toole is from Galway, and he is a representative of the Social Democrats. And Niall, this is something that you have spoken out about over the weekend, in particular with to do with the law surrounding dogs.
Yes, and hi Adrian and everyone in Dublin. We've actually been talking about it for a while now. Because I talked to there's a lot of experts in Galway who actually study this professionally, and they've been saying that it was inevitable that a fatality was going to happen if we continued with the way our laws are right now. And so unfortunately it's happened. And I just want to say first and foremost that it was a really tragic incident that happened in Moycullen. I don't know the exact specifics of what happened and how it was. So I don't want to I don't want to make any comment on
No. There's no need to know any more information other than a woman is dead after being attacked by two dogs.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And now we need to know what are we going to do about it.
And what would you like us to do about it? The most up-to-date law is the 20-year-old Control of Dogs Act from 1998. And what that does is it places certain controls on certain breeds of dog. They have to be on a short lead, accompanied by a person over 16 years who's able to control them. They have to be muzzled when they're in a public place, and they have to wear a collar bearing the name and address of their owner at all times. Okay, so that's the law as it stands, but you don't believe that that's adequate?
No, well, obviously in this case it wouldn't have had any force at all because,
absolutely
because
not.
it was on private property. Now, what in general, I and the Social Democrats try to bring the best evidence that's available and make it into policy. And so what the experts are saying is that what you should be doing is looking for, the breed actually doesn't, it's more around owner behaviour and how the dog is trained. And actually what you should be doing is looking for whenever the first signs of any aggressive behaviour in a dog is spotted. So not biting people, but say chasing animals or being aggressive. At that point is when restrictions should come in. So it should be much more around what behaviour the dogs are showing, and trying to educate owners and the general public about how to train and interact with dogs. And the countries that have done that have much lower rates of hospitalizations from bites and fatalities than Ireland does. So for example,
I was interested to read that we have a big problem in terms of the amount of people that have been hospitalised due to dog bites. Now, not necessarily fatal dog bites, but just dog bites, is higher here than in most other countries.
That's right. So in Netherlands, where they take that kind of individual dog behaviour approach, they have about a quarter of the dog bites that we do in Ireland.
And so this is down to education then, is it? This is down to people not knowing how to control dogs or people inappropriately owning dogs?
Yeah, so a lot of it's around education. It's also around being very strict on enforcement whenever a dog is showing. So it's around being much more specific on the individual dog. And as soon as the dog is showing any sign of aggressive behaviour, that's when the restrictions should come in. I mean, at the moment you kind of have a blanket ban on a few breeds. I mean, I can completely understand how the people might react to a case like this, or to dog attacks on specific breeds. But the evidence is actually showing that the reason for dog bites is much more around owner behaviour and the training of dogs than the breed. And so a better way is to tackle individual dogs whenever they're showing that type of behaviour. And not. So
what are you saying? What if a dog growls once, you put him down? What are you getting at? If a dog chases after a cat in the back garden, he hardly gets put down for that.
There's a framework that's been put out by Dr. Porrick O'Sullivan from NUIG. So he's an expert in dog behaviour, and what he would suggest is that there should be a few levels of restrictions. And so we're not talking about a growl, but like say if a dog started chasing animals, or if it became very aggressive with someone, not to the point of biting them yet. So there will be kind of a first level where they're showing very aggressive behaviour, but the owner of the dog should know, and anyone from the public should know, that at that point you need to have some level of enforcement to be able to get dog training and owner education, so that you can train that behaviour out. And then if it goes even further to another level of behaviour where someone is actually biting, then even more strict regulations would come in place.
Okay, but how do you account then for poor ownership? And what I mean by that is, and somebody just texted in to say exactly this: dogs are not born bad; it's bad owners. What can you do with the law to punish these people?
Well, at the moment with the current laws, you can't do anything. And so it's just like what it just does is what you have to do in public if you own one of these dogs. It doesn't really have that much enforcement for bad owner behaviour. So a lot of it with a different set of regulations, you could put more restrictions on owners of dogs who are showing aggressive behaviour, and I think that would be a much better way actually to reduce fatalities.
Okay, so we need more laws around irresponsible owners and making it a serious crime to not bring up a dog properly or not look after it properly or not report it for aggressive behaviour.
That's right. I mean, like we really need to get people like the owners and the public just knowing at what point they should be worried about a dog's behaviour. So that so first of all, so that the support can come in where we can support owners to train them in the right way. But if it keeps on escalating, then stricter enforcement has to come in place so that we avoid incidents like what happened in Moycullen. Now, I don't know if something like this would have specifically avoided something in Moycullen, so I don't want to link that. But in general, if we take a different approach to it, we should see the rate of dog bites go down to something like the Netherlands, which is about a quarter of what we have here in Ireland.
So you believe we need new laws surrounding this and particularly around ownership and around the way in which people treat these dogs and mind these dogs?
That's right, and that's what the experts are saying. And so, like, I mean, I'm not a dog psychologist. I'm someone who's trying to make good policy. And whenever we do that, we go out and we listen to the experts. And so you have someone who's literally done a PhD on this in NUI Galway saying this. You have Veterinary Ireland saying that this is a much better approach. So the association of all the vets in Ireland are saying this is a better approach to tackle our dog control laws. And really, like as politicians, we have to listen to that and try and make the best policy we can. And this is what these guys are saying, and so we should be listening.
All right. Niall O'Toole from the Social Democrats, thank you very much indeed for joining us here at 98FM. And I would love to hear from you on this on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you on this. What new laws can be brought in or what can be done to stop the likes of this? Now, it just so happens that these dogs that attack this woman happen to be on the restricted dogs list. I'd love to hear from you. 6797981. Michael, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Michael.
Morning, Adrian.
Morning, Michael. How are you?
I think all these dogs should be rounded up and shot. As simple as, or else you're not allowed to have one until you get proper training on how to control a dog. I mean, people are getting dogs for presents.
Yes, I know they are, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It totally is. I know a woman there that got a dog for a Christmas present, and she was lost, and they were saying, oh, I would get you a dog, and she was complaining because the dog was too big. So she ended up having to give the dog away after getting 2 or 3 bites off it, and then felt terrible for after having to surrender the dog. You know what I mean?
So
it's a total joke.
So what are you saying? That dogs on the restricted dogs list should be just rounded up and shot?
Exactly. Or else you don't get one until you're trained properly how to control a dog.
Right,
you're brought to these classes.
So if you have a dog that is on this restricted dogs list, you need to, before you're allowed to own one, you should be sent on a training course.
Exactly. And you should get a certificate, and if you don't have that certificate, your dog goes. Simple as.
If you don't have it, right, okay. So, in order to, so the law that you would bring in is to have a training course for anybody who wants to own any one of these dogs that's on the restricted dogs list. And if you don't have a cert that shows you've done that, then you can't.
The dog will be taken off you and put down.
And put down.
Simple as. Yeah. It's the only way, Adrian. They're giving flutes, they're getting dogs out there, they're having a clue how to feed them, don't mind nothing else.
I agree with you, but I don't know if you're talking about rounding them up if their owners don't have a cert to say that
if they don't have the proper cert, they should be taken off them, Adrian. Simple as. A dog is more dangerous than the lions or anything like that. You see them 2 tigers that attacked that woman in England. I mean, it's common sense. They're not able, people that can't look after a big dog like that, or that can be taken over by a big dog like that, has to be trained in how to cope with these situations.
Okay, so without a training course, you should not be allowed to own one of these dogs.
Exactly. And that should be the law today, not now in a few years.
Right, this needs to be brought in immediately.
It does, Adrian.
Well, stay there for 1 second. Niamh, I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. He's basically saying that unless you do a training course, unless you are properly trained to handle one of the dogs on the dangerous dogs list, you're not allowed to own one. Do you think that's ridiculous?
No, I think he's dead right. I mean, you wouldn't be allowed to own anything dangerous without doing some sort of training course. You have to do a safe pass to work. So if you're going to own a dog that has a huge amount of muscle, these dogs aren't bad. They're not born bad. It's bad ownership. It's nothing to do with the dog. You can have two dogs.
Do me a favour, Niamh, and stay on the line there for 1 second if you can, please. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Get involved with us right now and we'll take your calls in just a second.
This is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Tuesday morning, the 6th day of June 2017. Good morning, Dublin. How are you today? I'm Adrian Kennedy and this is 98FM's Dublin Talks. We're here until midday today. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with, not specifically to do with this case, but just what this case highlights. In the wake of the horrible, it must have been a horrible death. A 64-year-old woman, Teresa McDonagh, died after being attacked by 2 bull mastiffs in the home of a family friend. She went to check on the dogs and they attacked her. And the details are kind of irrelevant, except that a woman is dead after being attacked by 2 dogs. One of the things that has been called for in the last couple of days is new laws surrounding dangerous dogs. These dogs happen to be on the restricted dogs list, and we're asking what can be done and what should be done. What sort of new laws would you like to see being brought in? Now, Niamh, you believe that this is all down to the owners, although in this particular case with this lady, the owners weren't even there, so you would like to see people having to do training courses, as we were talking about.
Yeah, I think, if you have a dog that is, any dog really has the capacity to hurt somebody. But if you have a dog that is pure muscle, is very, very strong, you have to be a strong owner. And that's learnt. You don't just get a dog and know exactly how to train a dog, no matter what that dog is. I have a dog, she's a big dog, she's a husky. I would not let my 7-year-old walk her, not because there's anything wrong with her. She is the friendliest dog in the world. She loves everyone and she loves being out with people, but she's strong. And he wouldn't be able to control her, and then she could run out in front of a car and cause an accident, and that would be my fault. So you have to have a little bit of sense and learn, and the only way you can learn, I had to learn how to train her. I took her to classes because I didn't have a clue how to deal with a big dog.
Hadn't a clue.
So she went to classes. No, I took her when she was very small. We took her to puppy classes, and I learned how to train her. And now I have control over her because I learned how to do it. But I couldn't have done it on my own, probably. So if you have 2 dogs that are the same, say 2 staffies, and you've one fool that thinks, isn't it great fun to have a dog going around snarling and barking at everyone because he's taught him how to do that, and another one who's a good owner. And the dog is perfectly fine. It's not the dog. It's blame the owners, don't blame the breed. Because all dogs have the capacity, if they're trained badly, to be a weapon. Any dog can bite you, and a Jack Russell can hurt you, but unfortunately a pit bull or a bull mastiff can kill you. And that's where you have to be responsible, because that is your responsibility if that dog kills somebody.
All right, so more training for dog owners. Louise, tell me what is happening regularly in St. Anne's Park. Hello, Louise. You there, Louise?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Louise, how are you? Tell me what is happening in St. Anne's Park.
Well, basically, there is a dog up there that's there regularly that's on this restricted list. So basically, this dog should be muzzled and on lead at all times. And basically, this dog is just running free around St. Anne's with the owner. The owner actually carries the muzzle in her hands. And this dog has attacked, in the last couple of months, has attacked at least 8 dogs. And, you know, ran up loads of vet bills and is actually just terrorising the people in St. Anne's Park. There's been letters sent to the Dublin City Council. There's been letters and emails sent to the dog wardens and directly to St. Anne's Park. And absolutely nothing is being done about it.
And what sort of a dog are we talking about, Louise?
It's a Japanese Akita.
A Japanese Akita. So this Japanese Akita is regularly being brought to St. Anne's Park in Raheny by its owner with the muzzle. He or she allows the dog then off the muzzle, off the lead, to just run and do its own thing around St. Anne's Park.
Yeah, and seemingly her rule is she lets the dog bite twice before removing it from the park. Now,
say that again. She allows her dog to bite who twice? People or other dogs?
Dogs. Well, I'm presuming she's talking about dogs. She lets the dog bite twice and then removes it from the park, but brings it back the next day and let us do the same thing again. Like, this is no joke. And do you know what? She's actually afraid of her own dog.
This is unbelievable.
And nothing's been done about it at all.
And has anybody approached the owner?
Oh, seemingly, yeah. Not ourselves now. But we've heard stories that the owner's been approached and she just doesn't care. And seemingly her partner gets really aggressive when anybody says anything to him about the dog. They're just doing what they want to do and they're being let do it. And I can tell you now, I've seen this dog in action. It's only a matter of time before a child is seriously hurt.
Wow. That is very scary. And again, it's been reported to the dog warden. It's been reported to anybody you can think to report these things to. Yeah. And still nothing is done. Still this woman is allowing her dog to run around and do its own thing in St. Anne's Park.
Yeah, and the dog
people.
is well known. The dog is well known now. People have actually stopped going to St. Anne's Park because of this dog.
That's unbelievable.
I don't know if you've ever been to St. Anne's
I
Park.
have, yeah.
On a weekend, there's hundreds and hundreds of kids up there. Small kids. And I can tell you now, and I've warned them, it's only a matter of time before this dog seriously hurts somebody.
Right, well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
And I totally agree with the other caller there. This isn't the dog's fault. This is completely the owner's fault. So irresponsible. They should never be putting that poor dog in the position to do things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And if anybody knows the owner of that dog, please let them know that people are terrified. People are not visiting St. Anne's Park because of this bloody dog. That's ridiculous. But again, it just highlights how ridiculous our laws are. People are trying to do something about this and nothing is being done.
Yep.
So, you can talk about new laws all you like, but nobody's implementing the current laws that we have. Thanks for sharing that story with us, Louise. Mick, you're on 98FM. How are you, Mick?
Morning, sir.
Morning, Mick. How are you?
A bit annoyed, actually, because I heard this topic on your show, and then I was actually thinking of my neighbour who I'm actually dealing with has a pit bull, and he also lets him out. And the minute they go out, now this is a neighbourhood green area, the minute they go out his front door, he takes the muzzle off, lead off, and he just run around. And they're vicious little swines. He has 2 of them.
Mm.
And I told him now, I said to him, if they ever bite any child, or even my child, I'll get them one night in the back garden, I'll cut their heads off, and I'll leave them on your front doorstep. And see all these restricted breeds, Adrian, the government just needs to get that bloody arse in gear. Every county, every bloody ward and everything, just round them all up, put them down, shoot them if you have to, kill them, whatever.
Sorry, you're saying that... Hang on, Mick. What, you want every dog that's on this restricted dogs list to be rounded up and shot?
Yeah, put them all down straight away.
But most of them haven't done anything wrong.
But Adrian, why are they on the restricted dogs breed list?
Some people query. Some people ask why. Exactly why.
Because they're bleeding vicious. Have you ever seen most of these dogs that, like, if they grabbed hold of a child, the child is decimated within seconds. And then you have these gobshites coming on. Oh, my little Rocco wouldn't do that. He's great. He's part of the family. Blah blah blah. They're muppets. They just need to round all these breeds up, kill them. You have no idea, man, how much I hate these dogs. And even my neighbour, I said, I will, Adrian, if you ever bite a person in this road, I don't care if it's not even my kids, I'll kill the dogs myself.
So you can see no reason why anybody would own an American Pit Bull Terrier, an English Bull Terrier, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, a Bull Mastiff. I'll go on and on with the list of dogs. So all of these dogs...
listing some of the most powerful and vicious bloody dogs going.
Okay,
and so... don't give me that crap, it's how the dog's raised either.
But it is.
No, Adrian, hold on. If a dog snaps, a dog is a dog. Sorry, I was about to curse. It's an animal.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, nobody, and no bloody simpleton out there, is a bleeding dog whisperer. You don't know what an animal is thinking. And if it snaps once, like, what kind of parents will take that risk and say, oh, well, if it happens once, then I'll get rid of it? You're taking a child, you're taking another child, or even a person's safety out of the equation, saying, well, if they do it once, then I might get rid of them. Why even take that risk? They're very powerful bloody animals that can do a lot of bloody damage.
I agree that they can. I agree that it's a possibility. But there are also other dogs that aren't on this list that have been known to attack as well. In fact, somebody sent me in, I don't know where this came from or how accurate it is, but somebody sent me in statistics from the UK, which appear to show that the dog that has led most people to be treated for bites is it's a Labrador, which I've always seen as like the friendliest. So what do we do? Round all Labradors up?
Well, Adrian, I'm of the belief that like all these restricted dogs, like at the end of the day, somebody is I could be wrong. I'm not 100% on dogs. Somebody is have what's called lockjaw, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get one of these dogs biting into a child, you ain't getting that dog off. Unless that dog decides to let go, unless you actually brain that bloody dog in, you're not going to get the dog off the child, or a person, or another dog, you know what I mean? Like, I can't wrap my head around this. Now I have family that have Japanese Akitas, and I'm thinking, now one of them is like huge, and then they have a kid in the house, and I'm thinking, if that kid, like the kid doesn't stand a chance if the dog snaps. All it takes is the dog to have one bloody bad day, and then forget about it. You know what I mean? And it's a joke that people keep these as pets. Okay, so
all of the dogs that are on this list, you believe it should be illegal to own one of these dogs now. That's where we need to go with our laws.
100% illegal, and then if anyone found owning them, should get the corporation, the SPCA, whatever, just go out and just put them down in front of their owners. And they'll say, don't own another one. Oh, by the way, get rid of that.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Mick. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Lisa, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. What did you want to say on this?
Well, that chap Mick there is a muppet.
He's a muppet, why?
Come on, what kind of dog have you got?
You are an absolute muppet. It doesn't matter what kind of dog I have. I grew up with dogs. My dog is Listen, let me tell you something. Let me speak, please. Okay?
Go ahead.
For you to come on air and to say to people that all of those animals should be destroyed, you should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself. Because these are animals. They're living beings. They're animals.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. Hang on, I'm not finished.
What kind of dog have you got?
Hang on, I am not finished. You don't mind what dog I have. You let me finish speaking for a minute.
I can smell the
You're turning around and you're saying, no, listen, you're saying that for people, it's not how they're reared. It is how they're brought up. If you have a dog from a puppy...
Can I ask you a question?
No, hang on a minute. If you have a dog from a puppy, okay, you need to research and train that dog properly. A dog is an animal. Any animal, no matter what breed it is capable of attacking. And that's down to cats or anything else. Everything is capable of attacking. You need to have control of your animal. You have to have control of your animal. Sorry?
Can I respond now?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're finishing your rant. Do you trust your dogs? I presume you have dogs.
Of course I have dogs, yeah.
Right, and do you trust them?
I do, yeah.
So just tell me then, what breed are they?
It doesn't matter what breed they are.
Okay, so would you leave your kids alone with the dogs?
No, I wouldn't, no.
I trust
my dog. if I
You trust your dog, so you're telling me your dogs wouldn't attack, no?
Well, listen, you don't listen to what I just said. Any dog is capable of attacking. Any dog.
So why would you stupidly risk your children or your own safety around some of the most powerful bloody jaws on the planet? Or
because
in the
they're
breed?
trained properly, that's why. They are trained
So they can't
properly.
have a bad day and snap, no?
Listen, they know who their master is.
Oh,
they know.
Jesus
Now listen, they know who their master is. If you cannot train your dog...
So you're telling me no dog has ever turned on its master?
Let me tell you something. I walk into the delivery driver and I was attacked by a dog at a door doing my job, okay? I was attacked by a dog.
Sorry, Lisa, I can't hear you now. Whatever's happening to your phone?
Can you hear me?
It's very difficult to hear you. Go on.
Sorry, I was attacked by a dog while I'm doing my job.
No, sorry, Lisa, your phone has gone awful. Laura, stay there for 1 second because Carl wants to get in just before you. Carl, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Carl?
How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Carl. You're furious over what's being said here. Why?
That Mick fella, he's an absolute muppet. He hasn't a clue what he's talking about dogs. I don't even know if he has any dogs. Have you any dogs yourself?
I have 2 dogs.
You have 2 dogs. What dogs, Eddie?
Alsatians.
No.
Alsatians.
Sorry,
now,
hang on, Mick. Your dogs are on the restricted dogs list as well.
Yeah, and Adrian, at the end of the day, if it's made illegal, then so be it, then I'll have to get rid of them.
You're two-faced.
How am I?
Yeah, you're giving out about other people's restricted dogs, put everybody's restricted dogs down, yet you have 2 there on the list itself. Do your dogs bite?
What?
Do your dogs bite?
Do they fight?
Do they bite?
Do they bite?
Oh, bite. Well, no, not so far, no.
No, because you're probably a good owner. You've probably brought the dogs up well. That's you. If the dogs bite and you treat them bad,
no,
that's all
I
up to
wouldn't
you.
leave them around my kids. I wouldn't trust them. When the minute I found my dog, they're muzzled. They're on a leash. I wouldn't let them off.
What's the point in having the dogs if you can't trust them? I have 4 or 5 dogs myself.
Do you trust every animal, do you?
I trust every animal. I'd walk up to a Rottweiler before I'd walk up to a Jack Russell, and that's just because I've been bitten by 2 Jack Russells, I've been bitten by a Shih Tzu, and I've been bitten by a pug. Every other dog, no hassle with them. My brother has 2 pit bulls. He has a 2-year-old daughter that lies there on the floor with them. Not a bother to them.
So let me ask you, Carl, we're talking about this incident in Galway where this woman was savagely attacked by 2 dogs. It brings up the whole conversation about dangerous dogs. Our laws are 20 years old. What would you do to make the country safer from dogs?
Get rid of the owners, not the dogs. Get rid of the owners.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
the dog wasn't brought up to fight. The dog has a reason why it's being bit. Every dog can snap. The same as a human can snap. The same as...
get rid of the owners? How does that make sense?
Give the dogs to a home. Get the dogs treated right. The dogs are obviously being treated right at home.
That they're overloaded already. Let's put another few thousand in there, yeah?
Well, there's a lot of people out there. See, now, me personally, I wouldn't take a dog from somebody. That's because I don't know how the dog has been brought up. But I would take a dog from a pup because I can train the dog.
Because you can train a dog?
Yeah, you can train a dog.
Do you think then, one of the suggestions made a while ago was that people who were want to own dogs that are on the restricted dogs list have to do some sort of training course?
I don't see it.
Okay,
I don't see it working.
Okay, so how do you prevent then little muppets, and that's all they are, owning these dogs and using them in the way in which you mentioned? I mean, some dog owners should not own dogs, simply.
No, they shouldn't, and they're buying restricted dogs just for the fact they have the dogs and they can make them do what they want to do. So they can make them vicious.
So if it's not sending people on a training course, how do we stop irresponsible dog ownership?
They're not going. Are they going to go to the training course? Are they going to do it? No. Are they going to sit on the labour and just have these dogs and make them do what they want to do? Yes.
All right, we just got a message in a second ago. Every owner should have to complete a basic dog training course before getting their dog licence. Laura, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Laura, what did you want to say on this?
I just totally agree with banning the dogs altogether. Like, I've had a pit bull. I had him for 12 years. I've got a staffy now and a husky at the minute. But, like, my dogs have been brought up from pups to know that it's not okay to be aggressive. Every dog has the potential to be aggressive. It's all how you bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I do totally agree that you need to do some sort of training before you go off and buy yourself a pit bull or a staffy or a Rottweiler or something like that. Them dogs have the serious potential to do serious damage. I think the laws now are you have to have your dog chipped, you have to have a licence. I think you should also have to do about 6 weeks training before you get the dog, before you're allowed to have it. It's so easy to let somebody, like, you know, just go off, oh, sure, this is like a symbol, I'm big, I've got a big dangerous
and
dog.
that's what I just said a moment ago, that's the sort of dog ownership we need to stop. We need to...
I agree totally.
So you would have people have to do a training course to own one of these dogs?
Before they're even allowed to take the dog, it shouldn't be allowed. Like, I've been brought up with my dogs, I've always had big dogs, I've known exactly, but now at the same time I wouldn't leave my nieces or my nephews alone with my dogs without me supervising them. Because them children don't understand, like, poking a dog's eye. Every dog has a potential if it's getting poked and prodded.
Of course, absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And
you know what I mean? Like, you have to supervise your big dogs. There's no point turning around and saying they're like a chihuahua, or not a bother to them. Of course they have the potential. There's nobody that can train a dog never ever to snap. Like, there's always that risk. You have to be responsible enough to supervise them.
All right, let me just bring in one last call on this, and that is you, Geraldine. You're on 98FM. Hi, Geraldine.
How are you?
Good,
Not
thank you.
Not too bad, how are you?
What do you want to say?
I've an Alsatian. She's a cross between an Alsatian and a Husky. I've also a Staffy. Now, I would let my kids play with them, but obviously, like that woman said there, I would supervise them. I do trust them, but I don't believe it's the breed itself. I believe it's the owners and the training. If you haven't the time to put in with these dogs, don't get them.
And in an ideal world, people wouldn't, but sadly, people do.
I know.
And what about the idea then that if you want to own one of these dogs, you have to do a training course before you can get a dog licence?
I would agree with something like that. They are powerful dogs, but any dog can attack you. Like, I've been attacked more by Jack Russells. Like, I grew up with Rottweilers and Dobermen and big dogs. Like, you know, I've never had an issue with big dogs. It all comes down to training and the time you're willing to put into them. Like, if you just get one of them and leave them there and just don't look up nor down at them, like, they're dogs, they constantly need to be walked. They constantly need obedience training. You can't just have it as a thing and just leave it there and think everything's going to be all right with it.
All right, stay there for 1 second. I'll bring in one last call, and that is Luke. You're on 98FM. Hiya, Luke.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Luke. Luke, what new laws would you see brought in order to make us safer?
But I think even the talk about laws is silly to begin with. It's the owners when it comes down to the end of the day. Like that fella Mick that was talking, he hasn't a clue. We just showed even online there saying that if the laws can you get rid of his dogs. So that would lead you to suggest he has no time for the dogs. He's putting no effort into the dogs. He has no love for the dogs. So what?
Well, no, what he was saying was he'd abide by the law.
Adrian.
Yes, mate.
Well, first of all, mate, I do love my dogs. I'm the only one who interacts with them. My kids don't. I have them segregated away from the kids.
Well, have you trained your dog right, bud? Have you trained your dog right?
If comes in, I'm not going to turn around and say, no, my dogs are precious, I'm not going to do that. At the end of the day, a law has to be upheld.
Look, come here, you know as well as I do. I got my dog there, for instance, the German Shepherd, right? He's the most placid thing you'll ever meet. Now, I agree, you have to watch your dogs, that's a fact. But I've walked my dog in parks, and my dog has been attacked by other smaller dogs. But yet, I'm still then given out there. But my dog's on the lead, my dog's under control. But yet, no one will look at a smaller dog. It's discrimination against bigger dogs, and it's totally wrong. It's the owners that own the dogs, and it's the way the dogs are reared.
Okay.
If you're going to take on the responsibility...
Let me ask you, Luke, then, how do we, and I didn't realise this until today, that we have a higher percentage of people ending up in hospital with dog bites than any other country in Europe? Which means we're not controlling our dogs properly. How do we stop that?
But that goes down to the people, though. People have to be educated. If you're going to take the responsibility, and it is a responsibility, no matter what animal you take into your house, it's a responsibility, especially if you're going to take a bigger breed in. You have to know about them. You're not going to have to know what goes into them to control them. No one should just take on a big dog out of whim, because it is a job that you have to put in effort there. If you put the effort, rewards. If you don't, well, then the animal does have potential, and that's a fact. But no one seems to talk about how Jack Russells bite everyone, or collies bite everyone. But it's always when a big dog is publicised everywhere, and it's totally wrong.
All right, Luke, thank you very much indeed for your call, and thank you for your call, Mick. A couple of your messages just before we wrap this up. Tell Mick that he's clearly very uneducated when it comes to the dog world. He said a dog can't tell you what he's thinking. Yes, they can, says that message. Dogs speak through body language and signals. It's your responsibility as a dog owner to know those signals. I agree with Mick 100%. There is no need to own anything on the dangerous dogs list, says that message. And one last one. Where's the other one I wanted to read out? A couple of people actually agreeing with Mick 100%. I know a man that has a friend that likes wild and ignorant dogs. I think it is disgusting to have a Jack Russell when the owner knows it, every time the dog snaps, he shouts at it with some bad language and then forgets about it, says that message. In other words, basically what that person is saying is it doesn't have to be on the restricted dogs list to be a dangerous, nasty little dog. Anyway, this is 98FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. As we know, London was yet again targeted by terrorists over the weekend in an attack carried out by three. One of whom actually lived in Dublin for for a year and a half, we understand, before making his way to the UK. 7 people lost their lives when they drove a van into pedestrians on London Bridge and then launched a knife attack in Borough Market on Saturday night. It comes only weeks after the Manchester attacks, which saw 22 people, children and adults, lose their lives, and only a few months since another attack on Westminster Bridge in London. Well, over the weekend, we received this message from a very worried mother, and she's desperate for some advice. I want you to have a listen to this, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. Adrian, as I'm writing this, my eyes are full with tears and my heart is heavy with sorrow. My 22-year-old son is currently looking for a job in London. His 2 best friends are living over there, and I don't want him to go. He announced in February that he was going to move to London at the end of the summer with or without a job, and at the time it didn't bother me. However, my mind has changed following all the recent attacks. I have told him that London is a target and that it is unsafe, but he remains adamant that he's going there. There is awful tension in the house over this. She goes on to say, how do I make him see sense? I will be out of my mind with worry. Surely it's only a matter of time before these animals strike again. Please ask your listeners for advice. What will I do? It's killing me. Now, there are currently over 300,000 Irish people living and working in the UK. Perhaps you know somebody who's living and working in London. Would you be worried for their welfare? I think every one of us knows somebody living and working in London. Somewhere I always wanted to live. Never got around to it, but always wanted to. I love London. But is this mother right to try to stop her son from going? Do you believe this young lad should change his plans? Would you change your plans if you were in this sort of situation? Last week on the programme we spoke about terrorist paranoia. Is this more of it? This woman not wanting her son to go to London? Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98.
Bringing you the biggest Dublin stories first.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
Good morning, Dublin. I'm Adrian. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. Now, this message, let me read it to you again, and I'd love to get your opinions on this, about this mother and her dilemma. Adrian, as I'm writing this, my eyes are full with tears and my heart is heavy with sorrow. My 22-year-old son is currently looking for a job in London. His 2 best friends are living over there already, and I don't want him to go. He announced in February that he was going to move to London at the end of the summer with or without a job, and at the time it didn't bother me. However, my mind has since changed following all the recent attacks. I have told him that London is a target and that it's unsafe, but he remains adamant that he is going. There's awful tension in the house over it. How do I make him see sense? I will be out of my mind with worry. Surely it's only a matter of time before these animals strike again. Please ask your listeners for advice. What will I do? This is killing me, says that message from that lady. And I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Now, she is right in saying that London is a target. You could argue anywhere is a target. Now, it just so happens that London has been hit twice in the last couple of months. Manchester's been hit as well. This lady basically says that if her son were to go to London, she will... she'll be out of her mind with worry. Angela, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Now, Angela, you believe that this young man is very selfish to consider...
I think at the moment, yes. I do. I genuinely do. Because, listen, we all know my feelings on it. You know, yes, I am paranoid. I have relations. I've cousins, an aunt living in London, and I nearly vomited.
When you heard of what happened on Saturday?
When I heard it, yeah. I just straight away thought of them because my cousin Niall works on, the boats on the Thames and goes under London Bridge. Now, I knew that he wouldn't be there that late at night, but that's all I thought of was, what would have happened if he was there? A good friend of mine, her mum and dad living in London, the restaurant that they came into, they've eaten inside there. They often go in there, down by that market. And this poor woman, and all I'm thinking is he's saying he's going to go over there whether he has a job or not. You're just going, well, does it really matter that much, to move there just because his friends are there? Just,
Okay, but we, like you said, we all know people who live in London. And for many of them, they're there because they have a better job than they might be able to get here, that they get better paid. There are all sorts of reasons that people move to London. And this young fella is probably no different, and that's why he wants to go. He wants to go in order to broaden his horizons, whatever the reason. But you think he's the selfish one for saying, I'm going regardless?
I do, because I know, going back a few years ago, about 10 years ago now, I wanted to be a prison officer. Mm-hmm. And I passed everything, and my mum said from the day I announced it to the day that I passed everything, she did not get a full night's sleep.
And
she did not get a full night's sleep.
I get that, and I understand, parents worry. I worry every day. My own young fella is in Canada, and I worry regularly about him, thinking he's there on his own and all that. But I don't let it... I don't lose sleep over it. It's in my mind.
If your son came home now and said, I want to move to London, how would you feel?
I don't really think it'd bother me any more than I'm living in Canada.
Do you know? Well, what's going on? I mean, the thing is, what isn't being mentioned at the moment is how the terror attacks are based on Europe now, and they're not happening in the States.
Well, that's true. That is very true. Stay there. Okay, so this young man should reconsider his plans to move to London.
Just reconsider it. Definitely.
Okay, stay there for a second. Liz, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Liz?
Hi.
Liz, this young man should reconsider his plans to move to London.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can stop living your life because of what's going on. It's scary. It is. It's weird that they're causing all over the world. But the thing is, he could reconsider. He could stay here, and in 6 months' time, the same thing could happen here. And you could get killed in a terrorist attack.
And that is the fact. And in fact, Angela, if I'm not mistaken, you were on this programme before saying that you believe we could be targeted here in Ireland.
And what did I tell you? Did I tell you that there was terrorists living in this country?
Yes, you did, yes.
Yeah. And what did they find out?
But sorry, Liz's point is that, we are vulnerable to an attack here. So what do we do? Not live here either? Do you know what I mean?
We haven't been hit, yes, but... I mean, why would you go to where there's a definite target? I would.
Okay, but Liz, why would you go to somewhere that is a definite target?
I'm flying to Amsterdam on Monday to leave God. I say to leave God because hopefully I'll still be here to be on a plane. I'm not going to let what's happening all over Europe at the minute. In the last few years, plenty of places in Europe have been hit. You can't not live your life. You can't reconsider everything because you might be caught up in a terrorist attack. That's no way to live for anybody. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they want. It's for everybody to be living under a cloud of fear. And eventually, all it's going to do is create the world full of hate.
Sorry,
I never want to go outside at all.
Okay, sorry, the noise on your line is awful. Mick, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Mick?
Right, just before we talk there, I just want to give props to my mate Roy Liner, who got cut up in the London, and he's alive and well now. He took on the jihadis. He's a good friend of mine there, so I wish him well. And and another thing as well, I think the mother should realise that what it is, right? The mother stopping her son from going there is exactly what the jihadis want. They want people to live in fear.
They want people to live in fear.
The jihadis do, yeah. And like I say, I go back and forth to London all the time because that's where I'm from originally, but I'm living in Dublin now. But when people realise it, like London has lived in fear of the IRA for many years and all that, but instead of living in fear and all that, they've got on with normal life, and that's what this lad wants to do. He wants to live a normal life and not living in fear.
Yeah, no, I agree, but this mother basically says she won't sleep a wink if he does go. She says, I'll be out of my mind with worry. And you have to understand how she would be out of her mind with worry, but do you think she's the selfish one for asking him not to go?
Yeah, I do. I believe so, yeah, because she's stopping from doing what he probably wants to do. Like I say, he might not have a job to go to when he goes to London and all that, but he can easily pick up work just like that, bang.
Okay, so let him be. Let him do his own thing, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Let him learn how the big bad world goes on, if you know what I mean.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Mick. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. If you just joined us, let me read this message again that I got from one of our listeners sent in to us yesterday. It says, as I'm writing this, my eyes are full with tears and my heart is heavy with sorrow. My 22-year-old son is currently looking for a job in London. His two best friends are living over there, and I don't want him to go. He announced in February that he was going to move to London at the end of the summer, with or without a job, and at the time it didn't bother me. However, my mind has changed following all the recent attacks. I have told him that London is a target and that it's unsafe, but he remains adamant that he is going. There's awful tension in the house over it. How do I make him see sense? I will be out of my mind with worry. Surely it's only a matter of time before these animals strike again. Please ask your listeners for advice. What will I do? This is killing me. Now, as I said, there are currently over 300,000 Irish people living and working in the UK. And I'd love to find out whether this woman is being selfish, even saying to her son, don't go, or is she right to be worried? Call me right now on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98.
The show getting Dublin talking.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Good morning, Dublin. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. A lot of tension in a particular Dublin home at the moment over a 22-year-old young fella who wants to go to London. He's been planning it since February. Mammy is now saying, no, you're not going. She now says she'd be out of her mind with worry if her son went to London because, as a city, it is a target. Now, she is right in saying as a city it is a target, and that's borne out by the fact that there have been 2 attacks in recent months. But even if you think that, maybe there's going to be another attack in London, what are your chances of actually being caught up in it? If you were to be, a statistician, probably very little chance that it would happen. Katie, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Katie.
Hey, yeah.
Now, Katie, you believe that it could happen anywhere?
Of course.
And
they're threatening us with it all, every country.
And Angela, like I said to you...
If our son wanted to go to London all his life, no matter what happened in London, do you know what I mean? You can't ruin his dreams. We could be bombed here tomorrow or today.
And Angela, that is a fact of it. Imagine this...
I would want my child to visit the world, no matter what's going on, because it could happen to us all at any time. I don't blame the woman now. Of course, I'd be concerned, but you have to go and let them live their dreams.
Well, there you go, Angela. You have to go and let them live their dreams.
I don't know. From the letter, it sounds like his two friends are over there, and that's why he wants to go. I don't know if it's a living his dream thing, but yeah,
all the more reason he has friends there.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? You can turn around and say it can happen anywhere, but why go to where? Why go to where it's happening?
But it's happening in a lot more countries than we hear of.
Okay, Angela, the argument here is that, you know, he could stay here, for example, and God forbid we become targets here in Ireland.
Yeah, well, I think we are.
But imagine he stays here and doesn't go to London and then ends up getting caught up in a terrorist attack here in Dublin.
Yeah, but the big difference with this is he wants to go where it's happening right now, where it has happened in the past few days. He wants to go to a country where it's actually happening more frequent than the United States, as I said.
Okay, but one of the arguments here is that what the terrorists want to achieve is to make us live in fear.
Exactly.
And you're just giving in to that fear, Angela.
Well, what are we meant to do?
Well, it's supposed to stand up by the right.
But hang on, if I were to follow your logic, what we're meant to do then is never go outside our front doors.
Yeah, well, you see, that's it. I knew that was going to happen. It's not that we're not going outside our front doors. It's not that at all. But people saying that you want to be safe, you want to be this, you know, so go and live where they're bombing at the moment.
But they're bombing a lot of countries.
No, hold on a second. They're bombing. He doesn't want to move to Syria. He doesn't want to move to Iraq. He doesn't. It's not that at all. Right?
But even Brits on holidays are being bombed, love.
Pardon?
Going to Spain and all. They're being like killed for going to British tourists. Do you know what I mean? Going over to Spain. They're being
targeted.
What's the word? You know what I mean?
All right, stay there for 1 second. Muat, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Muat.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. What did you want to say?
I just would like to tell Lauren to let her child go to his holiday and not to comply with the tourist rules. They can't put rules to restrict our life. For example, like 2015, I have 4 children who live in Ireland. We went back to Jordan for a holiday, and Jordan was a target for all these terrorist groups. One of them is ISIS, because they want to revenge from Jordan, as Jordan captured a cell of ISIS, and they attacked 3 hotels in Jordan, and they are trying to retaliate from Jordan, revenge from Jordan. But I took my 4 children there to Jordan, and we went to the coast, the south coast, on the Red Sea, and which is the most dangerous place. With 4 children, we had fun. We are not going to let the tourists control our life. That's one of the major targets of the tourists, to let us scare, live in fear, and we are not letting them do that. That's the agenda.
Okay, your point on this is also that we can't give in to this sort of
exactly
pressure to live in fear. We should not be living in fear.
We have to fight back. They are using all the means to scare the people to win the war. They are a small group, and they are winning because they are spreading fear around the world. They burned a Jordanian pilot alive in a cage to scare the Jordanians. But we, Jordanians, have the burden to fight back, and we fought back. Our king went himself on a plane and bombed ISIS in Syria, in Raqqa, city, South City. The Jordanian king himself. So we are not letting this fear going inside ourselves. We are fighting ISIS everywhere, here in Ireland, in UK, anywhere. They are not monsters. They like us to call them monsters. We are not calling them monsters. We'll call them losers. They have this agenda to scare the people in Europe and all over the world. But we have to scare them. We have the power to scare them. We can use the social media. We can use our education. We can use everything to fight back. They are very weak. They are not strong as we think. And we have the power to defeat them, by the way. But I think there are some agendas. They are receiving some power, some money. We have to cut funding for these terrorist groups. So let your son go to London. Let him enjoy his life, and don't let him be scared of this, what's happening.
And I have to say, it's very refreshing again, Muad, to hear a Muslim like yourself speaking out in that way. It's very refreshing, and I know people like to hear it. It was great to hear the Lord Mayor of London speaking out so strongly over the weekend as well, who's also a Muslim. It is very refreshing. So basically what you're saying to this lady, that you know, she says, I'll be out of my mind with worry. What you're saying to that lady is you need to let him go.
Yes, and I give another example to Lorraine. Like Irish people were in UN troops in the region. Yes. Irish people have good reputation in the region, in Middle East. They donated blood to Lebanon and to other countries. So I for tourist attacks to be going in London and Dublin, it's impossible for me, because I think Dublin, Irish people have a good reputation all over the world. They were in UN troops. I met several people in Jordan who served as the UN troops for peace in Lebanon, between Lebanon and Israel. So I don't think there's a chance of a terrorist attack in Dublin. This is my point of view for it. But I was last night in a mosque in Dublin, and because this is the month of Ramadan, and we celebrate, we go prayer at night time. I do prayer, but I don't carry the agenda that those. They didn't have, by the way, Adrian, I'd just like to take 1 minute here to explain what's going on. Those people, ISIS, we call them criminals. We can't call them monsters. Or losers, either criminals or losers. They don't relate to Islam by any chance, because for one evidence from all holy books, Prophet Muhammad used to tell the soldiers when he sent them soldiers for a war, don't cut a tree, don't touch a boy, don't touch a woman, don't touch an elderly. Those are protected by the Holy Quran and by Prophet Muhammad's rules. They are not soldiers.
Okay, so basically, don't give in to fear is really what you're saying to that lady. Okay, yes. And let that young man go. All right, let me just bring in one last call. And it's Carl. You're on 98FM. Carl, how are you? Hello, Carl. Hello.
Bill, is it?
Oh, sorry, what's your name?
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah.
How are you, Bill? It says Carl on my screen for some reason.
Hey, yeah. Anyway, look, this is the Irish mother syndrome. You know, protect the children, put them under your wing. Don't let them do anything. I had it where, when I was young, I applied for the Navy. Myself and two friends, we got the go-ahead. They got the go-ahead scoop and join, you know, and I didn't. I learned later that my mother had torn up the papers. Do you know, I never forgave that woman.
Oh, really?
She doesn't let
say
him
that
go.
again. She tore up the papers?
Yeah. Burnt them. My sister told me years later the reason why you didn't go into the Navy, and I joined the Irish Navy later, but this was the English Navy. I wanted to see the world. Now, if she stops him forever and a day, he'll never forgive her for stopping his career or whatever. And in the 3 bombs that went off, I don't recall one Irish person being killed, or even mentioned that they were injured. Even.
No. Perhaps it's only a matter of time before it does happen, but
possibly.
But you believe so? In your case, you found out in subsequent years that it was your mother who stopped you.
It was my mother. My sister, with a few drinks on her, said, "Do you know why you didn't join the Navy? Because Mom tore up the papers. She wasn't letting you go."
Oh wow!
And there wasn't even a bloody war on, you know.
And you're saying that if that woman tries to stand in her son's way, he'll just resent her for the rest of his life?
Well, I did. I resented my mother, and I haven't even went near her grave because of that. You can't stop people. I had a son killed, right, on the road. I had 3 other children. A year later, I sent the 3 of them to Australia. You know, you cannot stop. Que sera, you know, karma, you have to go. It's their life, not yours. She's more worried about what she'll lose. You know, not the loss of him.
So she is the one who's being selfish, in your opinion?
What?
She is the one who's being selfish, in your opinion?
Yes, of course she is, yeah.
All right, and most of you, I have to say, are saying you shouldn't live in fear. It's happening in France as well, says this message. So does she think we should not go there either? Hi, Adrian. England, Belgium, France and Germany and many other Western countries are hellholes. This is only the start, says Alex. And Adrian, can you just clarify for Angela that the attack in London wasn't a bombing? It was maniacs in a van who then stabbed people. So if she chooses to live in fear, then it would come down to never leaving the house, because they're even using vehicles as weapons now, says Liz in Ballyfermot. All right, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. We're back with you again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Have a great Tuesday.
Dublin Talks continues now on Facebook and Twitter. Contact the show 24 hours a day on 6797 981.